Times of spiritual need. Help from above. BD0908 from May 11, 1939, taken from book number 18. In times of spiritual hardship, the care of the Father in heaven has always been directed towards the children of the earth, and thus the human race has been protected from complete decline the generations anew. The greater the need, the more visibly the love and mercy of God intervened, but the world corrupted the generations again and again, and the battle with darkness was a constant one, for the lure of the world was immense, but humanity was weak and without faith in eternal glory. And so more homage was paid to the world and its illusory goods, but little thought was given to the eternal divinity and life after death. The time of suffering on earth could therefore never be ended, but hardship and sorrow had to become ever more tangible, for there was no other way to convert such an unbelieving human race which only sought the joy of the world. It had to find its way back to the eternal Creator in tribulations and oppressions of all kinds. It had to learn to recognize the transience of earthly things and had to take upon itself burdens, toil and suffering, for only through such was a return to the Father possible. But now faithlessness has taken on such proportions that people no longer think of the Lord even in the greatest suffering. They certainly try to master their resistance, worries and misery with all conceivable means, and often in vain, but they cannot find the path to the heavenly Creator because in their faithlessness they do not even remotely want to acknowledge such a Creator. And thus they don't pay attention to the spiritual gifts from above either, and are therefore completely defenseless in the face of the great misery which is still destined for earth. And in this adversity the Lord now remembers of the oppressed humanity. He seeks to give it knowledge of spiritual life in direct contact. He seeks to awaken the sense for pure spiritual exchange, and people would only have to cultivate such contact for their part or make use of the results. Yet such success does not increase earthly goods and is therefore not desirable either, and this now prompts the eternal deity to intervene sharply again, which will visibly appear to the whole world. And inevitably only his own will be spared the effects of divine omnipotence and justice. And this hour is no longer far away when humanity will be shaken up and find itself in greatest turmoil, and this time will have such a dreadful effect that all strength and all assistance will have to be requested from God if people are not to end their earthly life in despair and be abandoned to complete ruin. For the end of the world does not mean the coming judgment. However, for the individual who does not want to recognize the temporal end will have come, and both the believers and the unbelievers will be taken away from earth. The former will be guided upwards, but the latter will have to immediately exchange the earthly kingdom for the kingdom of darkness. Many miracles will happen first, but people do not pay attention to it. And there will be great trouble among mankind, for the voice of God will not be heard and the call from above will not penetrate the hearts of the faithless, but will reverberate unheard. And this is decided in a short time, and all who want to escape unspeakable misery may heed these words, for the Lord still remembers them in the last hour. Amen.